Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about the amazing application known as AutoHotkey. So let's dive deep into it. So what exactly is this? Because nobody shuts up about it and programmers love this. So question is why? Well, this puppy is what we classify as productive booster. Many times when you are using computer, it does not matter you are a programmer, you could be an accountant, you could be a video artist or whatever have you. If you are working on a computer, there are many times regularly that you have to do things that are just brain dead. That's just like, why you have to do it? Like, here's the deal. Doing something first time, not an issue. Doing that same thing again and again and again and again, it becomes tedious. So this sort of application allows you to automate that. That's why we call it productivity booster. And if you know what you're doing with this puppy and you configure it properly, you're gonna be flying, meaning people have saved hours per day doing their work. So fundamentally, this puppy is powerful. Anyone who's using PCs regularly need this. On top of that, it's free and open source, meaning it's a FOSS, meaning you do not have to worry about, oh, what if they do this, or what if I open a big company, and again, many times people, many softwares are free, but the moment you go into commercial use, they're like, nah, bro, nah, come on, we gotta eat too. This does not have that issue, so it's properly free and open source. And what does it do? It's just a scripting language for users for Windows. If you are a Windows user, it's like you're writing a command in a scripting language, and that's it. It will automate complex actions for you. If you want, like, if this, then that, this, do this. Those are complex actions. This puppy can do that for you. And how do you employ those scripts? You basically put them in hotkeys or hot string. Hotkey is like Control-Shift-Alt-D. Hot string would be like, let's say you want a way where you are like, hey, if I'm typing today's date, it just types today's date, it can do that. That would be a hot string, where you are like a full letters would be hot string. Hotkey would be like combination of keys. So this is AutoHotkey. Now, what's the logic behind it? Here's the deal. Right now, you can just go online and just download a lot of AutoHotkey, but they won't work because your AutoHotkey is an application. Let that be very clear. It's an application you run on your system, and .ahk files that you see in World Wide Web like this, .ahk files, those are the script files. But script files directly does not work with Windows. Let that be very clear. There is an interpretation layer. That layer is the software we call AutoHotkey. What you download or what you specifically build is .ahk, as in like your file name, let's say folder renaming, and .ahk simply means it's a script that will run, and you design the script to do what you need it to do. And script can be created, and once you install the application, it starts automatically. You do not have to do anything, and then you have to run the script. So does it work after that? No. At that point, it's in armed state, meaning it's like I'm listening for the keystrokes. The moment it receives a keystroke, it's like, I got you, fam. Let that be very clear. There are 3 steps. First, the application has to be there. It has to be installed. Very easy, once-time thing to do. Second, the script has to be launched before you want to use them. Now, that may be an issue because if you have not placed it in the right location, it will not boot up with you. Application will, the script will not. So that will cause an issue. It may be desired. In some scenarios, it may be desired. You may have an issue where that hotkeys could interfere with something else. So you may be like, hey, I will launch it manually when I need to. Again, up to you if you need to. So script needs to be armed. Then it's like you press the key, action happens like magic. So how far can you go? Well, this is where its horsepower is like horrifyingly high power. It's only limited by your ability to basically your skill of scripting. And be mindful, this is not programming. Program is AutoHotkey. You're just writing a script. Basically, you can have shift 1, loop 10 seconds, sleep for the second, and then refresh. Like, it can periodically refresh your web pages. Yes, people have done something that menial, and sometimes people go YOLO on it, because here's the deal. If you're working on any field, there is a very good chance you are familiar with this, FXS. So you have prefix and suffix. And if you're in a scenario, let's say you are a manager specifically, and you need to write emails, you sometimes need a way in your subject, so you yourself do not get lost, right? And there would be, let's say, 5 projects that are working parallelly. Again, different teams. You are the one managing all of them. How would you know which emails are which? You can just have a script where it's like, hey, prefix. So you can have a, if I press this button, Control-Shift-Alt-1, it will gives mark 1. Basically, it can be a project of like Hulululu project. Control-Shift-Alt-2. Hulalala project. Control-Shift-3, Jingalala project. You can have literally all those things. And every time you have to write an email, you do not have to type a long project name. You can just like, okay, now you type it. So when you have an email chain, you yourself do not get lost. It's like, which email is for whom? You will not get lost. Again, I'm talking about very basic thing, but if you have to do these sort of basic things, which most of us do, most of the time we do, that's how we are wasting time. You may be thinking like, hey, I got the computer, why it's not flying? Because again, we are wasting time on those tedious things. And again, tedious things are, and the more repeating you have to do, more likely you are to make error, or worst case scenario, just not do it. So that's the logic behind this. You have installed an application, it runs the script, and voila, script is armed, then you press the keys and it works. So doing this in a work computer may require you to have a talk with IT management and all that, but in household you do not have to worry about it. Work from home, go YOLO. So it's only limited by your imagination of either downloading scripts, copy pasting scripts, following YouTube tutorials, or just using ChatGPT. I used it, it does work. So it's only limited by your actual ability to script. You can automate horrifyingly large number of things. So this is the best example, and it is a must-have for almost anyone who is using computers. So date and time. Now, why is that? Here's the, you need what we classify as digital hygiene. Many of you have put files in your computer. If I asked you where those files are few days later in the future, you will have very hard time. And here's the deal. Think about it. Why the heck your computers have so many folders? Like, there are folders that every operating system gives you, like, documentation, videos and all that. Why do you have so many after that? There's like work, homework, this work, and you're just like, why? It's lost because you yourself do not practice digital hygiene. So what's the best way of doing it? Date and time. For example, if you are getting paid for work, call it work. If you're not getting paid for that work, call it side project. Done. And everything else inside it, basically, if you are researching something, some idea pop up to your head, you put date underscore what idea popped up to your head, and done. Now you will never lose that folder. And be mindful, the date has to be before you put the content, so to say, content of the folder. And this is necessary, because if you do that, the date created and date modified becomes independent. Because here's the deal, if you are, let's say you have this and you're like, hey, I'm porting my old hard drive to new hard drive, let's say you're moving from 2 terabyte to 4 terabyte, you put that, and date created and date modified becomes hulululu. And that's why we have such a poor digital hygiene. However, if date were in the name, in prefix, let that be very clear, it has to be prefix, and it has to be this exact format of year, month, and then date, you will never mess it up. You can arrange it ascending, descending without any issue. It will never be affected by metadata layer. And that's how many professionals do that. That's a default system. And people who work in Japan, that's their normal date code. It's the perfect archiving system. So that's how you do it. But here's the deal, if you have to do it manually, you're gonna do it 1 or 2 times, but after that you won't. But I do not have to worry about it, because I have this Ctrl+Shift+Alt+D. Why I have Ctrl+Shift+Alt+D? Again, it was easy. I just thought of it. You do not want to have hotkey that are interfering with something else. So Ctrl+Shift+Alt+D, I have not used it in anything. So Ctrl+Shift+Alt+D. It sends a percentage sign. A is automatic underscore YYY. Year, it reads the current year. Then percentage, a symbol. Be mindful, if you open up Android photo gallery, you will notice all photos have long numbers. Here's the deal. That's the same thing. But because there is no space bar, no symbols, it's hella confusing to what the hell those things are. So to solve that issue, you must have symbol. I have seen way too many people do not have give symbol. Unless you are a computer program, you will get confused. Your eyes literally cannot just count, okay, this is 4 digit, this is 2 digit, after that this is have a freaking symbol. Okay, just have a freaking symbol. So a symbol, what symbol, that's up to you, but best symbol is dash. Then you have automatic, month, automatic, date. Voila. So I press Ctrl+Shift+D, I get date. No issue. So every folder that I'm creating, once I figured this out, it's auto-organized. I never lose anything. Like, especially for photographers, this is like God is sent for them. Like, instead of writing client name, which you will forget, you're like, hey, when this happened? Oh, in 2015, last year or something like that. And again, you can, even if you do not know, you can rule things out. You can be like, hey, let's select this 2023. And you're like, okay, no. Okay, then you know absolutely it's not in 2023, that you can look in 2022, 2021. That's how you can sort it out. That's why archiving is always done in format. Year, month, date. It has to be this way. Please make sure you have some gap or some symbol to separate it so your eyes can actually read it. Do not leave it just like, strings of number, and it has to be prefix. So this is how you take care of things that are happening on a day-to-day basis. Okay, that's a big thing. But here's it. What if you are an artist or musician or video editor and all that, and you have to do what we call save as? But here's the it's happening inside a day. So how will you save the file? Well, you have date and time. So Ctrl+Shift+Alt+T in my case sends advanced symbol like this, where you can have date and time. So every time, let's say you are working on a program and you're like, hey, running it is fine. Then you're like, hey, I need to clone it. Control Shift S, press this. It's automatically saves there. You do not have to rename anything. It's just one time there, and it will all be cleanly organized. Never have to worry about it. Never have to mess with anything. It's clean, elegant. And the script is not that complex. It's format time, F capital and T capital. Then you get comma, CTD. Now be mindful, you can even have Hululu, it's just a variable name. And then you have double comma, and then you have year, month. Please make sure you put symbols there. Do not be like Android developers who are just like, oh, a computer can read it, so it's awesome. It's like, dude, a human should be able to read it. And I hate every camera manufacturers because they do not have this. Year, month, date, underscore, hours, minutes, seconds. Now be mindful, it's much more advisable to use 24-hour clock rather than AM and PM, because AM and PM can mess up many times. And again, it's just not elegant. And be mindful, if you are doing something where is a probability that you're gonna have 1 or 2 file saves inside a minute, you will have seconds, then you're gonna have AM, PM. So for most scenarios, it's just like, yeah, bite the bullet and just put 24-hour format. I know it's tedious, you have to do down conversion in your head, but you will be thanking me later. Again, you do not want very long strings, because be mindful, this is prefix. It must be a prefix. Only then you can keep it. So we have format, time, then a variable name for it, the year, month, date, hours, minute, second, underscore, and then send. Send is a command. Basically, this command reads the data, stores the data in the variable in this format, and then you have send percentage CTD percentage enter return command. Basically, it loops it. So every time I press Control Shift T, voila. I do not have to, like, first time I pressed it, it was in 29 seconds. Second time I pressed it in 35 seconds. I do not have to worry. So even if you are saving one file per second, it will still work. If you're going faster than that, what the hell are you doing? Like, that is for my application that I had built. I had like millisecond there, but then I realized there is almost no scenario where you are actually saving file every millisecond. So although in my screenshot application, I do have millisecond there, because again, I have taken screenshot, especially if a video frame, I'm tuck doing that. So it doesn't need that. So date and time, this will help you immensely. This is basically payment from your past for your future. So in the future, you will be like, oh, where is that folder? Where is it? Like, how do that store it? You will never get lost. I'm super stupid that I did not knew it on day one, but damn, after knowing this is like easy. So please do this. Then we come to more advanced things. Those are basic level things that everybody should have. Let's go into some more deeper things. Now, the reason why this application is a bit more revered is that it can sense things. It's not just a dumb application that sends keyboard commands. It's smart. It can sense things, meaning it has a software included with it, which we call Windows Spy. This is the application. You can run it, and this Windows Spy can show you how things are working behind the scene, because we are interacting in GUI environment, graphical user interface, but there is a command structure behind it, software going behind it. So you can see it, like, let's say you have a notepad open. How does it look behind the scene? This spy will show you that there is a class that would be like a aka underscore class notepad, and how the heck exe is being called, that would be like aka hk underscore exe notepad.exe. Again, different application has that, but how would you know that? That's why this application is needed. It comes default with AutoHotkey. So once you have that, you can make a scenario where your script is smart, meaning it will not work unless some set criteria are matched. For example, let's say I have this command, Control Shift Alt W. Now, when I have this, it sends explained in Hindi, meaning when every day I used to save video file names, it had explained in Hindi. I had not figured out by then, guess like it would be easier to have a project file that had that, but okay, I needed this. Let's say you, for some scenario, need something like this. Okay, that's awesome and great. But there is an issue. If I press this command when I'm on something else, let's say I'm on an Excel sheet, I'm working, I press this command, it writes this. I do not want that. So let's say you can give it a condition. Condition is like, look for this window. If this window is not there, disable it. So if window active, like aka class underscore cabinet w window, which again, that's up to you how to find it, run this application. It will tell you, I figured out basically if Windows Explorer window is there, if I press Control Shift Z, it's going to create 2 folders for me. Every week, I create a new folder, as in like episode number 261, episode number 263, and each episode requires 2 folders, data and recordings. Recording as in camera recording, data as in like whatever images I am selecting for this sort of presentation. Now, doing it once or twice, not an issue. Doing it every week, it becomes tedious. doing it by script, I don't even notice it. So it's also a very simple thing. But the reason why it's not a hassle for me is because if window active, it looks for it. It's like, hey, that window is not active. I can keep pressing this. No command will happen. It will not interfere with anything. It will not do any random things. It will send Control Shift N. Once it's active, then it's going to send a text recording. Then it's going to send enter command. Then it's going to create Control Shift N again. Then it's going to send data. Again, you can even have date there. And then it's going to send the enter command again. Return, locks everything. And be mindful, this is just 2. You can have 5 or 6. Again, if you are having that many, it would be a wise idea to have a bit of delay. I've linked an amazing video down below where the individual created a complex script with 5 folders. And be mindful, many times you would notice that there are some people who are very methodic about it, and it's very easy for them to find out. They will have a folder for imports, folder for export, folder for audio, folder for whatever the work they are working. And other people are just like, everything is a mess. Why? It's tedious to do. That's why you have to automate this. If you automate it, it becomes basically, once you sorted it out, it's like, yeah, it's done. You never have to worry about it, and your future versions will thank you. It's like, hey, thankfully I have this habit. Thankfully I know where I did. There is a very good saying in computer industry, don't oversmart yourself. Meaning, do not be like, oh, I will know, like, new file, I'll know which is this new file. Then 5 minutes later, wait a minute, I have, you know, search bar new file, and it's like 16 new files. That's why. Do not oversmart yourself. Like, be simplify, done. And one thing you have to understand, the scripts are not designed to run automatically. It's a safety function. Again, you may be like, some scripts are so complex and you only want to activate them when you're working. Like, let's say your video editor, hey, this script is too complex, it may interfere with something else. I want to run the script when I'm working on video editing. Awesome. The scenario will be like, hey, this is our all-time running. You can have that. So how do you achieve that all-time running? You go into C, program data, then Microsoft, then Windows, then start menu, then programs, then startup. This folder, if you can put the script there, the script will auto launch every time you boot into your computer. You do not have to worry about it afterwards. So then you can do some really freakishly complex things. And be mindful, this puppy is very hated in gaming community because many people have built such a complex automation scripts where they are like literally playing the game using computer itself, because it can read the pixel data of the basically symbols. Basically, where your mouse pointer is, it can read the colors. So question is, are you ready for this? Let this be very clear. This is a tailor-made tool for you, meaning AutoHotkey is there, you can download it. But what do you do after that? That's a script. That's up to you, what you set it to. So it's a basically, rather than just buying a thing, it's like, oh, this is what I want. This is how I'm gonna do it. And video editors have gone down with it. Like, there are so many videos. I have linked some good ones. I have filtered a lot of videos and I have put some good ones down below. I would urge you to watch it, and you're like, damn, Adobe Premium does not have shortcut for this. No problem. I'm gonna make the goddamn shortcut. People have like, if let's say there is a style that you do and that style requires you to have 5 or 6 clicks, automate that. You'll be like, my work is done so effectively. I'm less stressed, less fatigued. That's why it's one of those things where you invest time, it pays back. So why the heck it's possible? Because it can see the screen and react to it. Not only it can see the window, you can even have like, hey, is that window active? That window will be active in the software very early on before it's active on the GUI. So then you can have another check where it's like, hey, is the color there? Meaning, let's say, you must have noticed that window when it's coming, it's translucent. Then it becomes an opaque color, and every program has its own color code. So it will be like gray button means it's armed and ready. It's a gray. Let's say gray is armed and ready. Black means it's not working, is in dark mode. So you can have a software that looks for it. AutoHotkey can look for that. It's like, hey, what is the color? So not only it's like, okay, I'm waiting for the window armed. It's not going to launch the command directly. It can do that. It's not supposed to be designed like that, because then you can have a scenario where if your computer is loaded or lagging, keyboard commands would have been sent by AutoHotkey way before it was implemented. That will give you a very bad experience. So the fact that it can see, it can wait. Basically, if your computer is slow, specifically with slow computer or loaded computer, where you can have a very high-end computer but it's so loaded, you can be like, hey, I'm gonna open this window. Some windows take time to load up. It's like, no problem, bro. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for the colors to change. Colors changes, bam, it sends a next command. So it's very, very effective. That's why I would urge you, like, really think about what you are doing. Think about how you are doing it regularly, and then just do it. and I have linked amazing video. One person just went a bit too extra, and I think this is just for show off. He literally put a command where he can basically have calculator in anywhere you have text. Basically 41 divided by 2, like all he has to do, 41 d 2. The moment he presses equal, it gives the result. It does not matter it's in command line, it does not matter it's file folder name, everywhere is a calculator for this guy. So be mindful, you can go YOLO on it. You can say like going YOLO. I'm like, dang. Like again, if you are in a scenario where you need this sort of calculation all the time, you'll be like, dang. Browser window, no problem. Command prompt, no problem. He can come 78 multiplied by 42, it gives, oh, multiplied, I think that what divide. So 12 into 13 equal 156, done. I'm like, dang. So you can go YOLO on it, and be mindful. The time you will say, I have to spend 1 hour day or 2 day. Again, if you are really bad or just have no experience with programming, it will take some time. Let that be very clear. However, the time spent is compound, as in it has compound interest. The moment I figured out date and time, especially the date, I have figured out date way long ago. It had made my life so much easier. I know where everything is. I know which folders I have to back up. Basically, it simplified my today's version. And that's why I hate camera companies. They did not have it. I have to use a bulk renamer to do that on a large scale, but you get the point. So the compounder, basically the hours you will spend here, first time getting it done, you will thank yourself in the future. It's like, hey, at least this is sorted. I know how to work. You'll be shocked how much efficient you can become if you can automate the tedious task, and the mistake rate, error rates will go down. So are you ready? So this was my presentation on AutoHotkey. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it, and if you want to dive deeper, videos down below. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.